Hello YouTube. So I finally found out what that secret was that was mentioned to us before. So if you look at the map, north of the brook is actually right here. And it says something. It says Coalm 68. Coalm 68, and then the password is 1894. So that's what we're gonna do. Journal. Coalm 68. Crap, I totally forgot. What was it? 1864? Nope. Yeah. Let's do it again. What? 1894. Oh, yeah. That's why. Ah, you erased it. What's wrong with my memory? 1895. I got this wrong again. Help me. Someone write this down for me. Oh, it's the. Oh, it's the. The Ohm 68. The Ohm 68. The Ohm. '68, and this is 1894. Oh, what? What? Oh, I see what we have here. Wow, that's a lot of entries. That is a lot of entries. All right, well, let's do one at least. Theodore's posts, August 4th. Hello, new system. Ooh, photo upload. It works. Should probably write here more often. Read about every book on Swedish folklore there is. Read. Surprised how little have been written about yearwalking. Need more sources of information. Talk to ES. He suggested some fieldwork. Might be good, but I feel that I might be 30 years too late. Been talking to elderly folks, eating cookies and drinking coffee. Their knowledge about yearwalking has been limited to say the least. Barely any one of them knew that what it was. If they did, they had heard stories as children but forgotten the details, thinking ES sent me on a wild goose chase. Interviews at the retirement home may never grow old. The last interview was intriguing if very brief. Talked to one Astrid Johnson. She was over 100 years old, clear at times, did not know a lot about folklore, but she did claim that her grandfather's brother had once yearwalked. Sadly, she did not know his name. He had died many years before she was born. Might have to look into it. Her maiden name was Svensson, which leaves me with a lot of possibilities. She was born in Vedtorp, and I can only hope that her grandfather was as well. I believe it's pronounced Vedtorp. More interviews, nothing worth mentioning. Professor Asp called today. He hinted that the faculty wanted to take part in my research. September 2nd. Names. Followed up my visit to the retirement home. In the early 20th century, there were 6 households in Vettorp with the surname Svensson. According to the church book, Astrid was born in 1913. Her grandfather was named Karl Fredrik. He had 2 brothers. One died in 1942. The other brother, Daniel Svensson, died in 1895. Since Astrid said that her great-granduncle died before she was born, Daniel is the one that supposedly yearwalked. And a Miller apprentice, going to the library to check out old newspapers tomorrow. Looked for references of Daniel Svensson in old newspapers. I'm grasping at the straws. Another day at the library, nothing of interest. Bored, I'm about to give up. Excited, the newspaper finally mentions Daniel Svensson. He was apparently arrested for the murder of a young woman in Vettorp. Something in Swedish here, Vettorp den 21, something. And un man have arrested for murder. That's kind of funny because that's, I can understand that. Information is scarce. Her name was Stina Nilsson. She was a miller's daughter. Her body was found on the field outside of the village. She had been stabbed multiple times. The library should be open longer. Hope I can find any reference to this supposed year walk. Ooh, that's the story. September 11th. The motive behind the murder seems to have been jealousy. Not many details. Apparently, Stina was going to marry Lucas Tapper. She was on her way home from Lucas' parents when she was intercepted by Daniel. She was found the following morning, just 17 years old. I feel that guilty about my excitement yesterday. After all, there is a great tragedy behind all this. The press seemed to have lost interest in the case after a while. Found nothing today. Maybe ES can tell me something. Had a long talk on the phone with ES. The murder case was unknown to him. He had, however, spent a lot of time in Vettorp during the 60s when he studied folklore in the area. There had been a rather peculiar runestone that seemed to predate the Viking Age. ES claims that there was a definite connection between the symbols of the stone and the year walking. He could not tell how. Want to check it out. Went to the library again, in case I missed something about Daniel. Indeed I had found another article. Feeling upset and a little bit sad. Borrowed the article just in case. Perhaps there is more to learn about Daniel. Booked a hotel room in Vettorp. Arrived in Vettorp. It's a small place. One street cuts through the village. It's a rather depressing place. To be fair, the weather would not do any place justice. The hotel is empty. Beside me and a group of dog toy manufacturers who are a bit on the noisy side. Must ask chef for the veal recipe. Got a map from the hotel owner. Excited about the archive. Have the feeling that I will find something major. Just got back from the archive. An interesting place. Satellites only open 4 hours a day. It's understandable since I was the only visitor. Possibly found the files I need. Tomorrow reading and lots of it. I knew it. Their archive had exceeded my wildest dreams. On the New Year's Eve year 1893, Daniel Svensson did indeed year walk. The court records refer to his year walk at several occasions. I have just started to scratch the surface. There must be beliefs hidden amongst these papers that had been forgotten for ages. Amazing. This is by far the latest recorded year walk. I hope I'm excused for borrowing the file from the archive. They gave me little choice since they are closed during the weekend. September 29th. Could not sleep last night. Too excited by the files. Much of the records are of legal nature, but there are relevant passages. Daniel claimed he knew that he would murder Stina after seeing it in a vision on his year walk. Suddenly, the scribe has not bothered to take it all down, and occasionally refers to it as rambling of a madman. Poor boy. There are certain elements that are new to me. Must write down in detail later on. Need fresh air. Daniel's cabin, so certain, is briefly mentioned in the protocol. We'll ask around about it. Hope it still exists. Oh, it's the box. September 30th. Drove around for hours in the forest today. These are woods to get lost in. As for the directions from every local, most people never heard of the cabin. Was about to give up when I met an old man. His aunt had lived there till 60s. From then it had 3 different owners that used it as a summer house until the mid 80s. The last family that owned the cabin only stayed there one summer. Their 5-year-old son drowned in a brook nearby, and after that they had never returned. Nobody has lived there since. The old man's nephew owned the land. I asked the old man if I could pay a visit. He did not think there could be anyone that would mind. I still don't know how to open the box. The cabin is situated deep into the forest. No sign, no road, just a narrow path. This was a place where he started a year walk over 100 years ago. Felt overwhelmed by the thought, could not enter. It's a lonely place. The only other building I could find in the area was an underground storehouse. Guess it might have belonged to the cabin. It was too dark to see anything, but I can't imagine there would be anything of significance in there. On my way back to the car, I found a strange box. What an odd thing to leave in the middle of the forest. Seems to be in more or less mint condition. Could not resist taking it. Ooh. Tonight I need a whiskey and lots of it. October 1st. Went to Velterp Church today. It's a small white stone church built in the 12th century. The place where the church stands has been used for worship even earlier than that, according to the priest I met. He showed me around the premises, put a bouquet of flowers on Stina's grave. Seemed appropriate. The almost unlikely somber epitaph read, in memory of a loving daughter, Stina Nilsson, 1877 to 1894. Her cries for mercy could not sway his hand. Depressing. Search for Daniel's grave, but there was no stone. According to the priest, there probably never was. The gravestone E.S. told me about are gone. The priest is not sure where they are or when they disappeared. October 2nd. Weather has been unreasonably bad. Spent the day at the country archive. Had trouble concentrating. Tried to locate a photograph of Daniel Svensson, but no luck. The clerk explained that a lot of stuff was lost when the files were moved from regional archive back in '76. Apparently there was another murder case in Vetterp in the early 90s. Elisa Rasmussen drowned 4 infants in a creek. Ugh. She was an angel maker who received foster children from poor unmarried mothers. Lisa promised to find the babies good homes in exchange for a hefty sum of money. This was all a charade. As soon as the mothers had paid whatever they owned, she drowned their children in a nearby creek. Oh, that's horrible. All files from that trial have been lost. Outrageous. Think I'm done with the archive. Been thinking a lot about the church. October 3rd, strange day. The runestone ES talked about is not marked on any map. Talked to the man at the service station. He drew me a rather primitive map. Searched for the stone for a long time, almost gave up, found it at last. Felt compelled to touch it, had the strange sensation of looking beyond what? The feeling lasted for quite some time. There's a map here. Heading home tomorrow. Wish I had more time. The stone is old, might predate Christianity, but I failed to see how it is connected to year walking. Could not resist stopping by the church on my way home. Walked around it for a bit. It's a pretty church. Not remarkable, but there is something about it. Feel that the church and the stone are connected somehow. Yes, they are. Took me a while to solve that puzzle. October 4th. Found the box when I unpacked it. Had almost forgotten about it. It seems to have some lock-like construction, but I have yet to understand exactly what it is or how to open it. That makes two of us. But it reminds me of one of those puzzle boxes. The wheel with a symbol suggests that it's opened by entering a password. It must be old. Maybe ES knows something about it. October 5th. Decided not to tell ES about the box. He might not appreciate that I took it with me. He's always nagging me about ethics. Busy week. Classes and meetings. This faculty is really getting in the way of my research. Feeling a bit strange. I've had weird dreams ever since I came back from Vetterp. Odd dreams. October 8th. Ooh. Dreamt that I was in a vast wasteland. I was searching for the keys to my locker together with Jenny from high school. We laughed and dug in the sand. Suddenly the sky lit up and Jenny pointed to a simple constellation of stars. She whispered in my ears to never forget it. Jenny? It's a triangle. I asked her what it meant, but she was dead and her bones were withered and old. Woke up and have been feeling rather queasy ever since. Okay, I'll remember this. October 10th. Read an account of a year walk by a man called Romdal. In a notebook I came over in a used bookshop. Romdal's story is a little more than a telltale told by a drunken oaf. Most of them seem to be. Daniel sticks out. It haunts me. Held a lecture on a year walking. Several faculty members attended it. They ridiculed me in front of the students. Another strange dream was doing my homework, was stressed because the oil lamp was running out of oil. And when I did, the pale horse outside the window would come inside. The lamp burned out and everything went black. Woke up soaked in sweat. Wonder if this is one of the symbols as well. Probably not. Must remember to buy groceries. Fiddle with the box. I have no clue how to open it. Frustrating. Oh, that's one of the symbols maybe. October 18th. What jealous, small-minded, greedy creatures the faculty members are, and they will undoubtedly create small-minded, jealous, and greedy students. Don't feel the need to share any of my research with the faculty anymore. They don't deserve to read something that my hand has written. They would not understand anyway. The thought of what is inside the box is like an itch that can't be scratched. I've searched for references to anything about it, but I have found nothing that resembles it at all. Having more strange dreams. Something happened in those woods. Is year walking a mere vision quest? Are the vision brought on by lack of light and food? Yes, believe so. Not so sure. Dreamt of the runestone. Was in the forest outside Vetterp. Mrs. Bowman was walking up to me. I was very afraid. She said that I had been a bad boy and broken the rules. Before I could defend myself and tell her that I did not mean to be naughty, she withered into dust. Found myself in front of the runestone. The grim's eyes glowed at me. Woke up. Find myself thinking of the stone. What does it mean and how is it connected to year walking? What did people do in those woods? October 27th. Do not feel like sleeping tonight. Drinking coffee and watching TV. If I stay awake, those dreams will stay away.